Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome back everybody to Inside the Force. We are here at the end of March, getting ready to get into April. I think spring break is upon us here soon. I'm going somewhere. I don't think you're going anywhere. Are you going anywhere?
No, I'm
No.
not.
I am heading back down to Galaxy's Edge. I'm going to visit Batu again here soon. Going to Disney World again.
The galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, it's almost like sounds like probably a deja vu thing to our listeners because every time I take a trip, it's Disney, and it's true.
There was New York that one time.
Work, yeah.
For work.
But when it's vacation, it's but this is the first Disney trip during spring break that I'm doing. So, but yeah, we're going back down there. Excited to go get back into Star Wars, see some Star Wars stuff. You know, again, there's nothing new that I don't think there's anything new, right? I am going for what?
No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I was just going to say I am going for a legacy lightsaber this time for sure. My goal is to get Luke's Return of the Jedi saber. That's my goal. So we'll see if it's there.
Is Din now walking around?
That's right. Yes.
And Grogu?
Mando and Grogu are walking around. That's right. Yes.
I couldn't remember. I know it was in Disneyland, but I couldn't remember if that has translated to Disney World yet.
It has.
All right. Well, there you go.
Boba Fett hadn't.
Oh.
Because I saw Boba Fett when I was in Disneyland last year, and he has not translated to Disney World yet.
That's weird because when Disney, the thing is, Disney, at least they used to have all these different characters and all these different costumes of all of these obscure characters. By obscure meaning, and for the Star Wars weekends. And
yeah,
Boba Fett was
Star Wars
one of
weekends.
them.
Yeah.
But no.
I don't know. Yeah, they just haven't. We got lucky because on the last day is when he debuted out there.
Oh.
And we happened to just catch him and Fennec Shand walking around, and it was incredible. Sam got a picture with him and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see Din and Grogu. So I forgot about that. So yes, that would be a big part of it.
There you go.
So that's but look for us still to come back next week, probably later in the week. I'll be back, Thursday or something like that. So we'll try to get another episode out next week as we still cover the Mandalorian. Bad Batches obviously finished up this past week, so we will be talking about that on this episode. The 2-part finale, of course, chapter 21 of the Mandalorian. But of course, first and foremost, thanks again to our patrons. I will kind of close this show out, talking a little bit about, something I posted the other day, which was the show's 10-year anniversary actually is this week. Which is quite mind blowing a little bit, but, and I mean, we're 8 episodes away from our 400th episode. So yeah, it's a couple milestones here. So, I'll talk about it, just a little quick, background of us for those of you that have joined us, recently or just in the past few years. I don't know if it's funny because I think I got a note from somebody that said, that they found us later, but they went back and listened to all of our episodes, so that was the beauty of it, really. Was I was hoping that this would be timeless, so a little bit timeless. Obviously, we do focus on this week's episodes and things like that, but topics that we talk about, I hope to be timeless. So, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The only bit of news that I was going to say was, last week we talked about, there was news about Damon Lindelof getting pulled off the movie that he was working. He kind of left the movie and there was another replacement. So now the rumor coming up now, which Star Wars Celebration is also next weekend, starts next weekend, April 7, 8, 9. But the big rumor right now is that they're actually the Star Wars panel that's supposed to be talking about the films is now going to apparently reveal that there are, in fact, 3 movies that are in the works.
3.
Now, we've kind of known, I guess I would say we've kind of known that there's been movies in the works. Rian Johnson apparently has been working on movies. Taika Waititi's apparently working on a movie. We knew Patty Jenkins was, but apparently that's not working. So anyway, this movie that Damon was working on, of course, that could still probably happen, I guess. But I suspect that we're not probably going to get. I don't think we're going to get titles necessarily. I think we might just get this is the direction we're going. Here are the 3 movies. There's 3 movies that we're planning on releasing. It's like one of them things where you see like Marvel where they just released a date, like untitled Star Wars movie date, untitled Star Wars movie date, because I just don't think they're that far into knowing who these filmmakers are, So.
Well, that's exciting.
But that's just a rumor. There's no official Lucasfilm, obviously, announcement or anything like that. So, but that's really it. News is a little thin right now as these shows are continuing, and then with Celebration coming out so close now, all the news is going to be safe for that, I'm sure. So, as we get back, that's the thing about it, Hannah. When we get back, if we do a show next Friday night, that will be the first day of Celebration. So there should be something to talk about, hopefully.
Hopefully. If not, then
we'll have to wait a week to talk about what happens over the weekend.
Yeah.
But it's always exciting. Celebration is always exciting. It's I don't think any of it's really going to be live streamed. So that's really the unfortunate part about it. All right, so we've got some incredible episodes here.
Yes.
We should go ahead and dive into The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 21 is called The Pirate. And of course, I'm assuming it's referring to the Pirate King. Is it Gilad Shard or something like that?
I think Gillen Chard.
Yeah, so he is back. We saw him a few episodes ago. I think it was the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was the premiere.
So. Yes.
Yeah, when he came and Mando came and Gorian Shard. When he came and when Mando came and visited Grief, and the pirates were there, and they took out some of the pirates, and then he shows up. Took him a little while, I guess, to come back, but he's back now to enact his revenge on Navarro. Before we get into some of these, exact details of this episode, overall, Hannah, how'd you feel about this?
Overall, I absolutely loved it. From when Din was talking to his tribe?
Yeah,
cult?
clan, pretty much. Well, covert, right?
What?
The covert, they call him the covert.
Covert? Okay.
The covert, yeah.
When he's talking to them and trying to convince them to help fight and help take back the planet. Because I think it kind of brings them in a full circle, too, because that was their home. Even though they were in the sewers, that was their home. And so now they get to go back and take back what was theirs. And they actually now have a home, a place to call home. So I thought that the battle for it was great. It bits reminded me of The Last of Us a little bit. But not in a bad way, just in like layout. And people who've seen Last of Us know exactly what I'm talking about. With the sniper up above. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode from that point on. I love the ending that Bo-Katan gets. This season is going a direction I don't think any of us really saw it going. So pretty cool. Probably not my favorite episode, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think there's a lot to dissect there. I think though, because we did spend some time setting up the battle in a sense, right? There was obviously the attack on Navarro, and then you had the New Republic Ranger come in and try to persuade the New Republic into intervening and saving Navarro. That doesn't work, so he's got to track down Mando and get the Mandalorians to help, which it does come full circle in the sense that Grief offered him some land there, like you said, on Navarro, so this gives them opportunity to help in exchange for this land. So I thought that was pretty brilliant to get that going and getting the Mandalorians out from underground, basically. Because even remember last time when they were on Navarro, they were in the sewers.
Yeah.
So they really haven't been out in the open for a long time.
And part of that was their choice. I mean, even the armorer said so.
Right.
And so did so did Vizsla. They both said, we've been underground for too long. Maybe it's time for us to step in the sun.
Yeah, and I think that's part of this whole unification that I think is happening. Of course, like you said, what Bo-Katan is going to start doing. You try to unify all the tribes, all the clans. And the armor keeps saying, take back Mandalore. I mean, I don't think anybody's got it. I mean, there's no one really there. So they just got to go and get it.
Maybe it's more like a spirit of the mind.
Yeah,
take
maybe.
Back the spirit of Mandalore. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we both liked it. I think we both thought it was really good. Let's talk a little bit about some of these some highlights here. One, you got to talk about this cameo.
The cameo, mind blown. Was not
because
that.
I actually wasn't able to really get on social much today to look if there was reactions, but
I didn't see it. Well, I wasn't on social much either, so
I did see a couple tweets which I warned some friends of mine. I said, do not get spoiled. Like, go watch Mandalorian. Do not get spoiled. Because some people on Twitter were posting pictures of this character, and some of them were good about it because they blurred it. One of the things where you blur it and you say, if you want to see a spoiler picture, you can. So that was really good. So I was watching this thing with my daughter actually, and which I do with her every Wednesday morning. As soon as this person walked on camera, at first I was like, oh, okay. So they found another species, because if you remember, Hannah, you played Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Yes.
So Cal Kestis's master was this creature. I can't remember their why am I forgetting their species?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't. But as soon as you say it, I won't remember. But anyway, I thought, oh wow, they're using this species.
Lasat.
Yeah, Lasat. Yeah, thank you. And so, but as soon as they start talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's him. And we're talking about Zeb Aurelius. Now you missed this
I d-
because I brought this up to you today, and you were like, "What? What?" So how did you miss this again?
what happened was I watched the episode up until the point where he got like it was actually perfect timing up until the point that he read the message from the High Magistrate, and then I lost internet.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
then
yeah.
when I got internet back, I had to guess where I was, and I guessed right after
That scene.
that scene, and the pilot is flying off. So it was literally, and so I didn't finish it, and then we were talking about some work stuff, and then you're like, "Oh, what did you think of the cameo? Because you totally got to that point." I'm like, "What cameo?"
Yes.
He's like, "Did you see them in the bar?" I was like, "Were they in the background?" And you're like, "No, there was a whole scene." And I was like, "What? How did I miss that?"
I mean,
it's a long scene. It's not just a quick one-liner.
No, he says a couple lines, and it's clear. I mean, he looks fantastic.
He looks great.
Yeah, I mean, this is I believe. Again, we've seen Zeb in Rebels. We've seen and I fail to remember his name, but Jedi Fallen Order. We see Cal Kestis' his master, who is Lasat as well. So we've seen a couple of animated versions of Lasats. We haven't seen them in live action like this. So, but I mean, the translation is fantastic. And of course, if you look at the credits, it is indeed Zeb, and it is indeed voiced by Steve Bloom, who voiced him in Rebels. So as soon as I heard, and my daughter even said, like, "Is that Zeb?" Like, I'm sitting there like my jaw hit the floor. Like, what?
And even in closed captionings, they don't necessarily have Zeb. They don't have Zeb in the closed, and normally they have the name of whoever's talking. They don't have Zeb.
They don't. So let's just brief everybody on where he was. Now, we have not seen Zeb since the end of Rebels. Mm-hmm. And that was roughly a year or two before A New Hope. Now, it has been now, of course, the Ghost has been in a lot of battles, right? They were at the Battle of Scarif. Of course, the Ghost shows up much later in The Rise of Skywalker. And I believe in the animated shorts, Force. Oh my gosh, I'm like blanking all of a sudden while I'm doing this show. The animated shorts that they put on Disney Plus, one's following Hera, and so there's Force of Destiny, Star Wars Forces of Destiny or something like that. Gosh, I can't believe I'm just blanking tonight. But anyways, there's a bunch of series of shorts, different time periods. There's some on Ahsoka, mainly on the female characters. Ahsoka, Jyn, Leia, Padme, and then Hera. And so we learned in those shorts that Hera was indeed involved in a lot of the rebellion battles, especially the Battle of Endor. She was flying around the Ghost in the Battle of Endor. So there was always the speculation that was Zeb on the Ghost also. It doesn't say, it could be, I mean, but it seems like based on what we see here in him, it looks like there's squadrons now of, I'm sorry, there's actually Rangers, because he called himself from Adelphi Rangers, right? So do you remember there was supposed to be a show called Rangers of the New Republic that got canceled? Everybody speculated that was the one Gina Carano was supposed to go do. I wonder if Zeb was actually probably going to be on that show. I'm pretty sure he was going to be.
Probably. I mean, no reason not to do that, especially, and maybe that was the little tip of the hat in this episode too, that canceled series. And who knows, because like the translation is fantastic, and if I remember correctly, we do see Hera in the Ahsoka trailer, or who we believe to
Yes.
be Hera.
Yeah, no, it's Hera.
It's Hera. So there's no reason not to believe that we're not going to see Zeb in another series here, because he's alive.
He is alive.
He's with the Republic.
Yep. Yep. I know. It seemed like, again, like Cara Dune, who Gina Carano played Cara Dune, this guy Captain Teva, and then you got Zeb. I think there was going to be these collection of these characters to be in the Rangers show, right?
Right.
But since that got canceled, you extend their characters in these shows, right? And what you got going on. So, yeah, I guarantee it. I pretty much can guarantee Zeb will find his way, I think, back to the Ghost Crew when Ahsoka comes out. Because, like you said, Sabine is in there. Of course, Chopper and Hera. Then you just need Zeb, and then they're trying to find Ezra. I mean, it is the next season of Rebels, I think, is what Ahsoka's going to end up being.
Like Book of Boba Fett was Mandalorian 2.5.
2.5, yes, absolutely.
This is going to be Ahsoka. No, this is going to be Rebels 1.5.
Yes, that's right.
I guess. I don't know. There were 3 seasons of Rebels?
4 seasons.
4. So
this is like 5.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah, 4.5. Yeah, so of course, Teva comes in and finds the Mandalorians, and then I really liked how they didn't make them immediately follow, they as in like Filoni and them didn't make the Mandalorians immediately follow Din. You know what I mean? Like they questioned whether or not they should do this or not. And it was actually Paz Vizsla that actually got up and convinced everybody. So what'd you take away from that?
I thought it was cool. I also loved the reference to the feeling stick from New Girl. I don't know if you ever see.
No, but
what it is we each hold the stick, and only the person with the stick is allowed to talk about how they feel. And so it was pretty much that, is if you held the hammer, I guess So, but on a serious note, it's not one of my favorite Star Wars speeches. I think those still go to the 2 in Andor. But it was pretty convincing, because at first you're like, oh, he's saying that they shouldn't go, so maybe Din and Bo-Katan are going to go on their own. But then all of a sudden he like undercuts it and be like, and that's why we should go. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It makes total sense why they wouldn't follow Din, because he's like, he left them for a while. He was in exile, and he's trying to build back his reputation. So I'm glad it came from glad it came from Vizsla, because it seems like a lot of people deeply respect him. And he seems to be one of the main leaders there. So I thought it was good. I thought it was convincing. And yeah. I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about it. All I know is I was just like, oh, that took a turn.
Yeah, no, it was impressive, I think, to see, Paz's turn. I mean, it obviously took the life of his son being saved to do it, but it was a good move by him. I think it was a cool take, instead of just having them blindly follow Din, even though Din is, I feel like, more than proven himself. But that was cool to see. I think, of course, the battle was the battle. I think it was great Star Wars. I thought it was really cool to see. I actually didn't anticipate them killing all the pirates. So,
really?
I mean, I thought there would be a battle and the pirates would like flee and get out of there. You know what I mean? And like get fought off. But they flat out wiped them out.
They did.
And which is great because now yes, they're not going to come back. Navarro's going to probably be under protection now, and everybody's going to know that the Mandalorians are protecting him. So it's gonna thrive. But man, they blew up that city.
They did a number. That's going to take a lot to recover.
Yeah. So the last what?
So I was about to say, I do like at the end how the villagers swooped in to help as well.
Yeah, so of course.
They also fought.
Yes. So the last thing about this episode, which really threw a loop for me, was the conversation the armor and Bo-Katan have. So,
I thought you were going to go with what the discovery of the abandoned ship.
Oh, you're right. That's next. That's next.
But yeah,
the conversation with Bo. I think. What do you think this means for Bo?
Well, I think it means that she now has a chance to, be the leader that she's supposed to be. And this is a way for her to feel like she's redeeming herself, because I'm sure she feels, whether it's survivor's guilt or the fact that, she has the royal blood in her, she feels guilty for the fall of Mandalore. Even though it's not her fault, that's her home. She lost everything. This is her chance, in her mind, at redemption by bringing the people back together. The people that she was partially responsible for splitting up.
Right.
So this is her chance to make amends. So like I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this Din's show anymore, or is it Bo-Katan's show?
Yeah, it's I think that's a valid argument to make. I think that it's possible that the Mandalorian title, moves from person to person, but I do think in the end it's gonna be about Din. I think Din. I mean, he obviously is the one that's brought him into the light again. But what did you make of her being able to take her helmet off?
I don't know what that, I understand that that's because, and maybe it's just the armorer knows that the helmet thing is weird. And so in order to unite other people, you have to sometimes compromise on those things so you're more approachable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be it. But I know Bo-Katan was like, no, I've accepted this new way of life. What are you talking about? And I was like, I actually thought for a split second the armorer was going to take off her helmet.
I would have laid down a lot of money down it to say, yes, it's coming off as well. But it didn't. I was very surprised by that because, I was thinking, well, is she testing her? Or,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, is she testing her to see if she fully is the person that needs to lead? But the fact that she took it off and then still said, you're the one that could unite us. Now, it did come back to her seeing the mythosaur.
Yes.
Which was key. It sounds like she does believe her. Because in the last episode, it didn't sound like she believed her.
That confused me too. So I almost wonder if, and I think I have to go back and watch it, if there were potentially... Well, I mean, I guess that was a cave. And then, in the sewer, she has her own private room. So it could be she just didn't want anyone else to overhear. So she played it off like it maybe was, oh, yeah, you just saw it. But in the back of her mind, she's like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think, I don't know. I think there's still something with the armor's identity. I think that's why I thought it was going to be a pretty big reveal if she would have took her helmet off and said who she actually was, because we don't know a name yet, right? So I don't know if she can be someone significant that we know, because we don't really know about any Mandalorians.
We don't. I mean, and this is the tricky part too, is that they are wearing helmets. These are actors who have to learn how to convey emotion with their faces completely covered. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that played. I don't know who could the armorer be.
I don't know. I don't know if it could be anybody we know, unless again it's somebody that converted, a character that we know about that just happened to convert into the Mandalorian way. But the armor sounds like they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know who she could be, and whether or not it's significant. Maybe it's not significant. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. But well, I thought that was neat. And I actually thought when she walked outside and had her helmet off, I'm thinking, all right, man, everybody's got to take their helmets off.
I thought that too. I thought they were all going to be like, okay, I guess we're in a new age now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But she says no. Bo-Katan can walk both sides, both ways. So, thought that I was real surprised by that. I actually was very surprised by that.
Very surprised. I don't think any of us saw that coming.
No. So now let's talk about that. What you're talking about, which is that shuttle that Captain Teva found and investigated. Now, not surprising. I think as soon as the discussion started going around that Gideon was going to be back and Gideon survived, didn't even make it to trial. He's obviously proving that now. So, I mean, I guess the big twist of it is that there's Mandalorian armor in there. I don't know what that means, but
who would want to frame the Mandalorians?
Is that what you chalked up, that it's a frame job?
I thought it was framed.
Actually, I didn't even think about that, but that's actually that's probably what it is.
You think it's one of the split off clans?
Maybe. I think frame job is actually more accurate. But
who would want to frame them?
Well, it could be whoever's whoever Gideon's boss is, which I guess ultimately could be Thrawn still. That's how we could be getting to Thrawn. I don't know.
But what would Thrawn want with Mandalorian?
I don't know. Yeah, that part I don't know. And who's to say? I mean, does no one else have any kind of Beskar armor or weapons or anything like that? Maybe not. I don't know.
Boba Fett wasn't technically a Mandalorian, and he had.
Yep.
So, maybe it was Boba Fett. Maybe Boba Fett left some of his armor in there.
Yeah, maybe he was hired to free him, and he just took the money. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think
no.
I think your idea is right. Actually, I think it's a frame job.
I just don't know where that's going to lead. I just thought it was, he escaped.
Right. Yeah. Well, I did too. I don't. Yeah.
And that was all.
Yeah. Why frame anybody if you're getting out of there and.
Yeah.
But maybe to get the New Republic off his scent. I don't know. That could be it. But anyway, 3 episodes left of this season. Wow. Already 5 episodes in. Thought there was like I agree with you. I think it wasn't the best episode, but it was definitely pretty good. Definitely pretty good. All right, so 3 episodes left. Chapter 6 will be next week. Let's talk about the Bad Batch, the season finale. 2-part season finale. You had the summit and Plan 99. Now, I will say, we can talk about them as like one big group if you want, because they were basically a continuation. I think this really threw me off, because I would have, again, bet a lot of money that we were going to make it to the facility where Crosshair was, like a long time ago. But they kept staying, on this planet where the summit is, which was very surprising. But I got to say, with what we got in these 2 episodes, I was floored. this is a really good series. These were really good episodes, and obviously there's going to be a season 3. So, Hannah, what did you think?
It was fantastic. I thought it was just so well told. I'm a little disappointed in that earlier episodes, the ones that we didn't enjoy as much or were very perplexed by, they weren't kind of tied together, or those loose ends weren't tied in the end of this. I don't know if they're going to carry on into the next season. But what I will say is, for the handful of episodes that you and I both enjoy, if it was just those episodes and then these episodes, you would have probably one of the best animated Star Wars seasons, I would argue. I do want to say I did call that Omega was going to get kidnapped and that they would have to go capture her. But there are other things that happened in these episodes that I did not see coming. Tears were shed.
Yeah.
It was so good. I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, a couple things to point out. For one, we did get a couple cameos in this show as well. One was a surprise. Right off the bat was Saul Guerrera.
I was not expecting that. I thought for a second, maybe the other stormtrooper with him is Jin, but she would have.
Oh no, she's too young.
She's too young. Like, that was the thing. I'm like, but that sounds like Jin, and then I was like, no, she'd be too young.
She's too young. Yeah,
too young.
Yeah, like basically he no. Has he gotten her yet? I don't know if he's gotten her yet.
He does not look. Not that this means anything, but
yeah, he doesn't look like Forrest Whitaker yet. Yeah. He was. Yeah, it wasn't. God, when did that happen? I think it's. I think she was young. When she was on Coruscant during the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a couple years after this that he gets her. I think it's
still
a
couple years. I was about to say, I don't think he got her yet.
No, yeah. So Jin, yeah.
Yeah, because this was very close to Order 66. And Jin's father didn't die until, I think, some years after Order 66.
Right.
So, no, but it's
because they just now started the Death Star and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, Saul makes a cameo. And then, of course, I haven't identified all of them, but the Imperials that are sitting around the desk, one is identified, and it is Krennic.
That took me a little bit by surprise.
Yes. Because for me, I didn't think he was that early on in the involvement of the construction of the Death Star, but clearly he was.
And of course, we have Tarkin there too.
Yes, Tarkin's there too. The other two, I don't know about yet.
I don't either.
So I don't know. I don't know what connection they have, if any, to other materials. But okay, so obviously the episode is really about them. You know, which is funny because their objective is to plant a tracking device on Hemlock's ship. They do accomplish that part of it, but they don't accomplish tracking it. So I thought it was funny that this whole episode, both episodes, is about this mission, and it's. I mean, there's been times where they haven't fulfilled their mission, but this was a bust, a big bust. Now let's go ahead and talk about the emotional side of this thing. I will say, like you, I was very emotional what we saw, which was, gosh, surely no one will get spoiled listening to us, but Tech what happened to Tech. Now, I thought it was incredibly tough to watch. I thought it was completely well done. The music was incredible. The only thing I'll say, Hannah, is that I wish, and I know probably some people, maybe even yourself, would argue that it was better that way, but I wish in the beginning, I wish Tech, at the opening of this episode, I wish Tech and Fee would have shared a little bit more. Because they hinted at this, at least she did. He's still kind of oblivious to it till the very end, where he, there was that pause that he gave, which I would have thought, I was waiting for him to say something, say something that acknowledged that, hey, by the way, I care for you too. I think that would even made it more powerful later on. I don't know.
See, to me, that would have been like, well, crap, he's gonna die.
Oh, you would have thought that would have been totally revealed?
Oh, and I thought there was something going on between them, for a past episode or two. But I just was like, maybe I'm just reading into this too much, because I'm a sucker for romance. But
I think there was on her side. I don't know ever if it was on his side.
No, I think it's there. He just doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, clearly.
And he's socially awkward, so he's not going to know. And I'm sure he probably is like, I'll see her later. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, so you are right. I would disagree with you on that one. Because otherwise, if he said something, I would have been like, well, he's dead.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone there. I felt like it would have made me more on the edge of my seat, because I wouldn't want something to happen to him. But I'm telling you, I was, this show is called The Bad Batch. I felt like these guys have been in worse situations, and they find a way. They find a way. So kudos to the writers, being able to say, look, you're allowed to kill him if you want.
I had a feeling the moment I thought, oh no, he's going to die, was when he jumped off the tram to go and get power back.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, he's going to get shot. And then he didn't get shot. And I was like, all right, he's fine. And then he falls. And I'm like, is this it? And then he hooks on. I'm like, okay, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. And then you have Wrecker trying to get him up. And I'm like, there has to be a way. There has to be a way. And pretty much roughly the same time that Tech was like, there's no time, I was like, there's no time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't. Now, I got to ask the question, though. Is he really dead?
I don't know, because you made an excellent point today. You don't see a body, or you don't see them die on camera. They are not officially dead.
Yeah, that's the rule.
That's the rule. So,
I think, again, and you can kind of go back to... You go back to two examples. One, you can go back to episode 1 in Darth Maul. Now, we see him get sliced in half. But if you really watch a lot of George's interviews, the reason why he showed him get cut in half, because at the time he wanted to show you he died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just didn't fall down the shaft, as a full body, so that maybe he would come back, because the intent was he was not going to survive. Mm-hmm. So I have to show Wade that he dies. You cut the guy in half, he dies. Now, clearly, it didn't kill him, and he comes back. But that was a decision that he changed later. Second example is Mace Windu.
Excellent
I think the intent at some point that George was going to bring him back somehow. I just don't think it ever was really figured out. I think Filoni could possibly still do it, or somebody could possibly still do it, because Sam Jackson he's a lot older now, so I don't know how you would, but he's definitely expressed interest in redoing it.
Aren't there rumors that that Mace Windu is coming back?
I
don't know
think
if those are fan rumors.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of wishful thinking kind of thing, fan driven storylines and stuff like that.
Wait, do we hear his voice? Oh wait, no, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, at that point he's dead.
Yeah.
He's supposed to should be dead by then.
He should be dead. Sorry, I was just thinking, well, if we don't hear his voice during Rey's scene and Rise of Skywalker, then he's. But then I was like, wait, that's like, never mind.
And we do hear his voice then, yeah. But the intent is to keep it open because he just kind of gets pushed out this window, and he was pretty injured, obviously, and all this stuff, but he could have survived that. I think the intent was. So I think this is almost similar to that. Like you see him fall to his supposed death, but you don't see a body. And honestly, it was so cloudy. Like what's even down there? Maybe there's water. I don't know.
Even if you fall from a high point into water, I think I read somewhere it's like falling onto concrete.
It is, but it is Star Wars, so physics are a little different in Star Wars. True. And he's got armor on, maybe that helps somehow. I don't know. Could he have hit a bunch of stuff that would have broken his fall? There's a million ways that you can go around figuring out how to save him.
Well, it's as simple as Hemlock conducting experiments on him and bringing him back.
That's exactly right, too. Yeah, you bring him back to the facility and you experiment on him, and then he wakes up because he's been kind of mixed with other clone DNA, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So, I want to say I don't think he's dead. Not until we see a body will I believe it.
We'll see.
That's just my rule. I don't buy it if I don't see it, because I think it would have been even more powerful if we actually died on camera. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where I think Star Wars they've done this a few times. Okay, so that was first part of that. I mean, the second part of it was you're really just getting rescued trying to not rescue, but trying to get off this planet and regroup and figure out where Omega is now. So our guys have no idea. I mean, how did you feel about how this season ended overall?
I'm really happy with it. I'm a little confused by the sister thing, because now I'm like, I wonder if my Palpatine clone mixed with Boba Fett's DNA thing, if that's now not valid anymore. That confused me, but otherwise I'm very happy with the way it ended. Part of me is glad that Sid kind of betrayed them. I thought Omega was going to do a trade at one point because she learned from what Tech did what sacrifice means. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I thought she was going to do that, but of course, Hemlock is going to have someone come up behind her and just knock her out. It'll be very interesting to see what season 3 is, but I'm glad there is a season 3.
It gotta be. I mean, it gotta be a season 3 now.
If there isn't a season 3, you want to talk about the worst cliffhanger ever in a show to just end there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not happy with the way it started, but I am happy with the way that it ended.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I agree. I do so when she takes off the goggles, I think they're trying to say that, look, I'm an older version of you, right?
Right, because
I can see her. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, she has darker hair, but whatever. So what do you think that means? Do you think that means that she is a accelerated clone? Because she's older. If she's older than Omega, she has to be accelerated. if she's from the same batch from Kaminoan. Now, or do you think she actually was cloned here in this facility?
I have no idea. Like, they're obviously DNA related. So maybe she was accelerated and Omega wasn't. I don't know. That line kind of threw me for a loop. I don't know what that. I genuinely have no idea what that means. I can't even come up with a fan theory or anything like that.
That's tough to say because so that would probably mean, at least I think, I feel like she has to be from Camino.
She has to.
Which means Nala Se would probably know about her.
Right, but we didn't see her on the island, right? Or on the planet.
Nala Se?
No, not Nala Se, the scientist girl.
No, right. So that's why I'm a little confused. Like if she wasn't there, why is she kind of working for the Empire now? And there's a lot of questions about who she is and why she's doing what she's doing. So
a lot.
I mean, that just threw like a big cliffhanger there.
Well, here's the thing too. If she was an experiment, and if she's technically a clone, why does he have so much respect for her? And why does he let her do what she does?
I don't know.
If she's technically a clone, I know. That's property of the Empire.
Or maybe he doesn't know.
Then why did she just announce it in a room and not like quietly tell Omega privately?
True. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, that's opening the doors down a whole different path.
We want answers.
I know. And I really thought they wouldn't do that in this, like have a big cliffhanger like that, because then you go into, the fact that Crosshair, like I did like, overall, this was a good season. Like you said, there were definitely episodes I won't go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
But I am still a little disappointed that, like, we didn't get enough Crosshair, I feel like.
We didn't. We absolutely did not. I feel
like those are my favorite episodes, probably.
I would say those, and then Plan 99 is probably Plan 99 is probably my other favorite one. But I would agree with you. Senate and Crosshair were my favorite episodes.
Yes. So, if I think I'm right. I think we're right? He was in third episode, which is the solitary clone, and then he was in the Outpost.
Yep.
And then Tipping Point.
And
that was it. Then he's just laying on the table here.
That's it.
A little strange. But so that's why I like where it's going now is Crosshair and getting him back on the team now. And man, it's gonna be tough. I don't know how these guys are gonna find this facility though, either. So
we'll find out.
Hopefully, at Celebration they announce when the season 3 is coming. Hope it's not as long as it was between 1 and 2.
I swear, if they say there's no season 3, I'm be like,
there's no way. I feel like this show is pretty popular, so. Mm-hmm. I guess real quick, which has been better, season 1 or season 2?
Season 1.
Wow. Okay.
And I think the only reason why I say that is season 1 to me is more, which one had the better episodes? Season 2. But which is a better season as a whole? Season 1.
Okay. I can probably get on board with that. Yeah.
Like, which one am I going to go down and I want to binge watch a season of something? I'm going to binge watch season 1.
Season 1. Yeah.
But if it's like, I want to watch this episode, then I'm going to be watching season 2.
Okay. It's fair.
What about you?
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison, because I think I think if I were going to watch a whole season, I'd watch season 1. But if I were just going to watch an episode or two, I would pop in a couple episodes from season 2 for sure. I think that's right. I think that's right. Well, Bad Batches is over. Hopefully we'll get, like I said, get an announcement at Celebration when season 3 is going to land. But right now, Mandalorian's got a couple more episodes, and then the next series apparently is, well, we do get Star Wars Visions on May the 4th. But then I'm sure at Celebration we will be getting the official release date for the next series, which is Ahsoka. That's going to be crazy. Crazy. Okay, just a couple minutes. I just want to spend some time just saying, like I said, March 26th, I believe, was our first episode that was released 10 years ago in 2013. For those of you that have been around all this time, thank you. Unbelievable for your unbelievable support of the show. It's just amazing to know that, we have anybody listening to us talking. We started this thing 10 years ago, and it was really just supposed to be a little show that we were going to talk about a lot of, at the time we thought was a bunch of canon material, because this was, we started the show shortly after the buyout. And since we knew there was going to be Star Wars content coming, let's do a show about it. So Casey and I started this thing. And we started profiling a bunch of stuff, but not realizing until about a year later that everything was moving to Legends and the new canon was coming. So some of the stuff that we were researching was not canon. It was from Expanded Universe. So anyway, we kind of morphed the show, and we've morphed it here and there just to kind of keep it fresh and going. And then, of course, we got a lot of great contributors that have come on the show and dedicated some time. And back in a while ago, it was always Corey coming on, Russell and Chad, filmmakers that I did some films with for a while, and then of course Cody came on to help out, and then Hannah, of course you're still here kicking it. Martin, who I do the Mandalore podcast with, has contributed on some stuff that we've done on YouTube. So, and then of course the Star Wars podcast community in general, I've guested on some shows, and I've had some people come on here. So it's just been a real fun ride. I mean, it's one of the things where I put as much time in this thing as I can. I know it's not nearly as much as some other people can do on their shows. But the whole thing was always about, if we're going to sit, Hannah, if we're going to sit at work and talk about Star Wars all the time, I mean, why not just do a show about it? Right. So, I mean, that's how me and Casey felt. It's like, we sit there and talk Star Wars all the time. Let's just do a show. And so, Star Wars is, as it is, I know with you, Hannah, Star Wars is a huge part of my life. It's been ever since I can remember, and it's kind of came and go on for a little while I was in school and stuff like that, because I was focused on sports and, where I was going to go to college and what I was going to do for a career and all this stuff. But I know a lot of people may not like this statement, but I really do got to thank Disney for keeping Star Wars around. George wasn't going to be here forever. And you can only do so much as one guy, you know what I mean? And, the fact that he let Disney take it over and do what they did, a lot of people can say, yes, maybe they saturated it too much with all this books and shows and comics, but I can't get enough of Star Wars. So, I want as much as possible, and I I guess as long as you guys keep listening and let me know you're listening, I'll keep trying to do this, and I'm grateful for you, Hannah, to come on now because, Casey's got a lot going on and I'm not even sure if he'll be back ever. And Cody's got a lot going on and, and it was kind of, it's kind of the fate of the force almost that, I always kind of wanted a female perspective anyway, for the show because, hearing two dudes all the time talking, it's not, especially ones like me, especially Casey, where me and him see eye to eye on almost everything. It's refreshing to have a different perspective and not just a female perspective, but a different perspective because we don't always see eye to eye on some things. But that's what it's always about. It's always about conversation. And it's always about hearing the different sides of things and different opinions on things. Bottom line, 10 years, I'm incredibly grateful. And I hope I keep trying to do as much as I can with it. And hopefully I'll get to a good spot here soon. There's just a lot, COVID was a lot for a lot of us as far as like, how do we do life? Even though we were at home, a lot of times, which gave a lot of people a lot of time to be able to do stuff online but we had work. We still were working online, and I felt like I had a lot of work to do, even still working from home. So, work is a lot of time. My daughters are a lot of time. So, but thankfully, I don't sleep much, and and my kids and my wife go to bed early, so I have a lot of time at night. So I try to do as much as I can again with the show. So thank you guys for watching. And of course, thank you, Hannah, for joining me on this journey.
Well, thank you, Dave, for the invitation to join. I'm glad I could do this with you and play a bigger part than initially planned. So thank you. Truly appreciate it. Absolutely enjoy doing this with you. And heck, it's Star Wars. It's a great time.
It is. And it's crazy how much stuff's out there. I mean, it's hard to cover it all. I mean, we're trying to get to it all, but we're trying to cover it all. But it's a lot.
It is.
So, I appreciate it. I mean, there were some, people on, I posted a little graphic online about it being the 10-year anniversary. I don't want to read them all, but there's just a couple of people that commented, said, Mark Davis was on here, said, very cool to listen to the first episode, because I posted the first episode. It said, if you want to listen to the first episode, Nathan's on here. He's been with me from the beginning. He said, y'all have been a treasure. May the force be with you. Now, Mark Davis said, where's Casey these days? So Casey, a little update on Casey. So long story short, Casey was working with me on our day jobs for about 6 years. He had just recently left to pursue his calling, which is he always wanted to be a teacher. He was a teacher for a little while, but then got out of it. Now he went back to the school system. He is teaching at a high school here in town. And he's teaching media arts. Actually, I think he's teaching digital marketing or something like that right now. But his big thing, which I've said on here before, the guy had twins. Maddie and Miles, a boy and a girl, within, I think it was like 3 years since his son was born. So, he's got 3 kids under 3 years, 3 and under, which is tough. It's tough. So obviously he hasn't had, not only has he, the problem is I don't want to say, and I don't even know if he's listening much of these anymore, but, and I want people to know that it's not that he doesn't have time to do the show. It's just that he doesn't have time to actually watch all this Star Wars stuff in order to do the show, right? Because you can't just come on here and just start guessing at what we're going to talk about, right? You have to, if we're going to talk about the Mandalorian, you should have seen the Mandalorian, right? So, you know, because there was a couple times where after his first son was born, right away, there were times when, you know, I'm sitting there like, yeah, what'd you think about this episode? They're like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. And I'm like, so I can only talk a little bit about it. I couldn't really go into it, you know, so it made it a little tough, but he's doing great, you know. He's family too, you know. My wife's his aunt, so he's literally family. So we do see him a lot, and he definitely loves Star Wars, and always we talk about it when we see each other. And so he is still around, but I'm not sure when, if ever, he will be back on the show. So, so right now, you know, I've got, you know, we've kind of got a good core of people. I think Hannah's helping me with this show, obviously, and we do Beyond and the Saga. You know, Corey is more of a dark side kind of guy, so we're doing Dark Knowledge together. I've got Martin, my Mandalore co-host, to help me with Council Sessions, which is, you know, just on YouTube. So, so I think, you know, I think we got a good plan, but, you know, it's just, again, there's a lot of stuff that I want to get done on the Patreon side and on the, you know, on our store side and things like that. So, anyway, I guess here's to 10 more years, right?
I was about to say, congrats on the last decade. Here's to another.
Yes. Wow. 10 more years. That would be fantastic. Real quick, let's throw out some comments, of course, from Thrawn Attic from our last episode. Great to have you both back. Tipping Point was such a great episode, referring to the Bad Batch. You're 100% right. All Crosshair episodes are the best. It was awesome to see a lot of the clones making a return, and easily excited to see the 2-part finale, and hope to see some more insight into what the Empire's overall plans are regarding the cloning. Seems like Bad Batch and the Mandalorian are focusing a lot on cloning, and wondering if they will link somehow. I don't know about that. I mean, obviously, I think it could all have something to do with the Emperor's cloning. It could, yeah. Chapter 19, The Covert, was an interesting episode. Did think it was a bit strange how they laid it out with Din and Bo at the start, and then big chunk of episode was on Coruscant. I agree with Hannah with the big takeaway being that the New Republic are far from perfect and struggling to fix things even after 5 years. I do love seeing Coruscant in this time period, though, because apart from books like Bloodline and Aftermath series, you don't get to see much from this era. So nice to see Dave Filoni start to fill in some gaps. Bo-Katan's decision to join didn't surprise me. She lost everything and has nothing. Wouldn't be surprised if eventually she becomes the new leader. Good call. Good call, Thrawn Addict. And then lastly, he says, I thought Chapter 20, the Foundling episode, was a lot of fun. Training scene was funny, but would have loved for Grogu to stop the darts fired at him with the Force.
Oh.
Yes, very, very cool. I don't know what the flying creature thing is called, but all those action scenes involved was so good. Was also interested to find out how and when Mandalorians eat, as well, knowing that their jetpacks can run out of fuel, which you don't see a lot in other episodes or in the Clone Wars. Seeing Ahmed Best was fantastic and deserves the awesome Jedi role. The whole Order 66 flashback was just gold, and looking forward to seeing where Grogu and him go from here.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing about Ahmed Best is that, you know, a lot of people are saying, like, this is his redemption role. This is his... Ahmed doesn't need redemption.
No, he doesn't.
This was just him And I mean, Throne Addict, you said it best. He deserved this role. This was his chance to, well, like, it was, like, I don't even know what to call it. It's not even a second chance. He was great as Jar Jar. It's just that people suck.
Yeah, he doesn't need redemption. He needs an apology.
That's exactly what he needs.
From all of us, not us, but I mean all of us fans that just treated him like crap and made him feel like he was worthless. Because I have proof. I have 2 girls upstairs that love Jar Jar Binks. Because they grew up with him. That was their funny Star Wars character, you know. I'm telling you, I heard a lot of people say it in the industry. Like, there's no one else that could have played that character at the time. In 1997, when they were shooting this thing, who was doing a CG character, like motion capturing a CG character? Like, no one was doing that.
No.
He was fantastic. And he's such a great guy. He's not like he's a horrible person. He's a great person. And I'm glad to see him as a Jedi Knight, a Jedi Master. Keller and Beck is fantastic, and hopefully there's a little bit more storyline with him. You know, and kind of Martin made this comment on The Mandalorian. He kind of argued that needed to be somebody that we knew, you know, like somebody that was recognizable, the person that saved Grogu. And, you know, of course, I argued a little bit that I knew who he was. I did not just say it was Ahmed Best. I knew it was Keller and Beck. I knew who Keller and Beck was, right? You did too. So I think a lot of people did. So I feel like it was perfect. I mean, Keller and Beck was in charge of younglings and Padawans. Why wouldn't he be the one to save them, right? So I think it was fantastic. Whoever had the actual idea, Filoni or Favreau, just said, you know what, let's get Ahmed for this. It was just brilliant. Brilliant. So great comments, Thrawn. Thanks you. Of course, he's a master patron, and really appreciate his dedication and support for us. And
thank you.
Yes, and I know his anniversary is coming up, so I got a lot of stuff coming your way, Thrawn Addict. So anyway, I don't know. I'm very appreciative, and thanks everybody for being with us. And you know, our next thing is episode 400 here in a few weeks. So got to plan something big.
Oh boy.
And actually, you know what? No, it's probably. Wait a minute. Let me look at the calendar real fast here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, we're gonna. I was about to say I thought maybe it would be landing on May the 4th, but no, it's
is
not.
it on The Revenge of the Fifth?
No, it's our 400th would be a couple weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but more than likely we will be recording on May the 4th. That is a Thursday.
Yeah.
So that will be. It looks like that'll be episode 397. So it'll be a little short. Anyway, thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Dave.
For joining me.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Thanks, everybody. Of course, if you haven't been to our Facebook group, you can join that. If you want to join in on some talks there, some people chatting there. Follow us on Inside the Force on all of our channels, social media channels, YouTube. Of course, you get those extra shows there. We'll be cranking out more once I get back from vacation, as I visit Batu here next week. So thank you, Hannah. Thank you,
Dave.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Go watch some Star Wars. We'll see you next week. May the Force be with you.